Welcome back, Ronin Renegades. I am Lupine Fiasco, this is Daily FaB Gameplay, and today I have for you another Kano game. For anyone who's new to the channel, welcome to the Resistance. What we do here is review replays of games that I have played on the Talishar client days or weeks ago, after enough time has passed that I lose my bias and can more objectively judge the quality of my play. I will walk through turn cycles as if I were taking them now, while explaining my thought process for the lines that I take, and we compare that to what I did at the time of recording. We either learn from my mistakes or reinforce good play patterns with the overall goal of tightening and optimizing our gameplay in the future to take down paper events like ProQuests or Road to Nationals, and most importantly, walk away with that shiny cardboard. Without further ado, let's talk about our sideboard and our game plan. Today's video features my Switchblade list. If you would like to check that list out or try it for yourself on Talishar, the FaB deck link is available in the video description below. While you're down there, if you have not already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel. It is the best free way to support me and to make sure you see daily FaB gameplay in your video feed 5 days a week. The best paid way to support me is through Patreon, and a Patreon link is also available in the video description. Patreon gets you Discord access, your name will appear in every daily FaB gameplay video, and there are even more benefits to come. Daily FaB gameplay will always be free 5 days a week, so for those who can afford to patronize me, I truly appreciate it. I wanted to show another Kano game, one because I have been running into a lot of Kanos this week, and I feel it is important that we all get practice as they seem to be doing very well in recent events, and two, because I felt like the last Kano game did not give Kano that good of a showing. For those among you who are not super familiar with Kano, when Kano doesn't pop off, he looks like a very bad deck. It looks like he got us to a medium life total and then died, and that is not very impressive. So I wanted to show what a better Kano result looks like, and maybe a better Kano player. This Kano player was very well disciplined, and I was very impressed by how they navigated the match. Similar to my last Kano video, I am just going to let this one play through. I will talk over it, giving my overall impressions. And after the video, we will focus on one turn in particular where I really think I could have tightened and optimized that play to walk away with shiny cardboard. We have won the die roll, and we are going to choose to go first. This is going to let us push damage onto Kano over his blocks, but most importantly, it prevents him from utilizing Kano's ability on our turn one. For those of you who were playing during the Lexi meta, think of it like having to go first against Lexi. Because Voltaire operates at instant speed, the Lexi can load her arsenal on our turn one to have a better turn two, and Kano here is very similar. If we could have pressured Lexi enough to keep her off of Voltaire, then her overall game plan is weaker into us, and if we can keep Kano from using his cards to damage us on turn one, he has a harder time killing us on future turns. Because this is a race, and we are trying to deal the most amount of damage in the least amount of time possible, we are using our Searing Emberblade and our Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. And because we need to prevent arcane damage on Kano's big explosive combo turn, we are bringing in our Spell Fray equipment. One important thing to note about Mask of Momentum is that the block value means nothing in this matchup. I put out a video recently talking about the relative values of Mask of Momentum versus Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, and you may think that if Kano is not intending to block us, that Mask of Momentum may get more value than Pouncing Lynx because we are drawing cards, but do make sure to remember that the 2 points of block value on Mask of Momentum does not matter in this matchup. Kano will never attack us with a physical attack. We cannot block with Mask of Momentum, and therefore its value already starts at 0 compared to the floor of 5 on Pouncing Lynx. Looking at the 60, we are simply going to board out our Bleed Out and board in our Spreading Flames. Spreading Flames will give us bigger turns overall, and without Kodachi's, Bleed Out is a very, very bad card. Our game plan in this matchup is to kill Kano as quickly as possible. We cannot interact with Kano outside of our Spell Fray equipment. He will not present physical damage for us to block, and we do not have Arcane Barrier to pitch into. Kano is going to throw the most damage he can at us as quickly as he can, while he sets up for his big Aether Wildfire combo turn. Similarly, we are looking to present as much damage as we can with Art of Wars and Spreading Flames. Command and Conquer here is not a card that I have a ton of experience with. It does force Kano to make a decision about whether to go on his combo, as he will usually stick something important in his arsenal that he would play with Stormstriders. Aether Wildfire, Blazing Aether, or something similar. But for the most part, our game plan here revolves around Art of War, Spreading Flames, and Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. Let's jump into the game and see how I failed to blow Kano up before he blew us up. Phoenix Flame goes to discard. We can see that we have an okay hand. Double Strike here is going to present 2 points of damage and 3 when coupled with Ancestral Empowerment. It is unlikely that anything we draw off of Ancestral Empowerment will be worth playing as opposed to bottoming to Enlightened Strike. There is no question that this Art of War is going into our arsenal. There's no world where we play Brand with Cinderclaw, then pitch Art of War for Emberblade and stick the E-Strike in our arsenal. We want this Art of War. That is the game plan. Kano here hits a very good Tome of Aetherwind off the top of his deck. That is going to give him more fuel with which to damage us on our first turn, while also blocking the Enlightened Strike. So the first bit of luck that Kano is going to get in this matchup. Between Crucible of Aetherwind and the Aether Flare, we take 4 points of damage. Kano is going to block the Enlightened Strike. He's giving us a Blazing Aether, which is interesting. It does make me think that he has an Aether Wildfire in hand, and that is going to go in his arsenal rather than the Blazing Aether. Lessons in Lava will allow Kano to find other Blazing Aethers within the deck, so that is not as big of an issue for him as finding the Wildfire to start his combo. Eye of Ophidia here tops a card and bottoms a card. The card that it tops is Gaze the Ages, which Kano is going to use to top 2 more cards. Then pitch the Gaze the Ages to activate Kano and play an Energy Potion off the top. The Energy Potion is very lucky for Kano and very necessary, but between 4 opts, I hesitate to call it luck, and I am more inclined to call it good Kano play. Kano finds a Lessons in Lava from the other Lessons in Lava. That is going to let him find Blazing Aether if necessary. So I'm thinking that Kano here is looking to combo. Thankfully, we have our Art of War. We make a questionable banish of Brand with Cinderclaw, and I'm going to talk about that after we're done with the game. I make the choice to E-Strike draw a card here, which I think is fine. We are going to use our Snapdragons. It's sort of unfortunate that we find a Lava Burst here. I would have preferred to find really any 0 cost Go Again card, as our Pouncing Lynx would have let us find a finisher, and with Kano not blocking this damage so far, it would have been a better finisher. We do break Mask of the Pouncing Lynx to find yellow Brand with Cinderclaw, which, when coupled with our single floating resource after we play Bittering Thorns, is going to maximize our damage. Because we don't need a finisher, there are really 2 options. The first would be another Double Strike, which is worth 4 points of damage, or the Brand with Cinderclaw, which with Art of War is worth 3, and with our floating resource to pick up our Phoenix Flame is worth another 2 for a total of 5. So we do achieve that floor of Mask of the Pouncing Lynx value. We play out the rest of our hand, ending with a 6-power Lava Burst, and Kano decides not to go for the combo, instead exercising a little more discipline and blocking the Lava Burst. Kano on his turn is going to Crucible of Aetherwind, then Aether Spindle. That is going to deal damage to us while allowing Kano to opt the top cards of his deck. All of them stay on top, which is horrendously bad for us. At this point, anything from our hand is lethal, so we are going to throw 3 points of damage at Kano and see if he can scrape together 28 points of damage through Spell Void 2. Kano doing Kano things, finding the blues necessary to activate his hero power. He does find the Lessons in Lava, activates the Storm Striders, which will let him play Aether Wildfire from Arsenal, and with the additional 2 resources floating and 2 resources from Energy Potion, he will be able to activate his nodes on the Wildfire, the Lessons in Lava, and the finisher, whose name I can't remember, but I'm about to get killed by. Blazing Aether, that's it. My brain was just so fried by this Kano combo. Kano does manage to pop off, does manage to do all of the damage, and does pick up the win. Let's take a look at that Art of War turn, because in thinking about it, I realized that we did play it poorly and could have played it better in a way that maybe would not have changed the outcome of this game, but might have. We have our Art of War turn. Starting with Art of War, absolutely correct. Pitching our Warmonger's Diplomacy to play it, absolutely correct. What I did in this game is banish the Brand with Cinderclaw. What I should have done is banish the Bittering Thorns. The reason for that is we have a 0-cost Draconic starter in hand, and we will have the 2 floating resources to pay for our Searing Emberblade. Additionally, because our starter is a brand, it makes our Double Strike Draconic, so we will have the Draconic links to make our FaB activation free and pick up and play our Phoenix Flame. Between Brand with Cinderclaw Blue, 2 instances of Double Strike, Searing Emberblade, and a Phoenix Flame, that is 11 points of damage spread across 5 links, which makes for an 8-power
Salt the Wound.
So already we have 19 points of damage in hand, and that does not include whatever we rip off the top of our deck with the Art of War. We will walk through playing the Art of War and seeing what we draw. We know that it's a Ravenous Rabble and a Enlightened Strike. If we have a blue Brand with Cinderclaw instead of our Bittering Thorns here, what we can do is play the Brand, follow with Double Strike, then Searing Emberblade. We can then pick up our Phoenix Flame and bottom it to the Enlightened Strike to draw a card, and use our Snapdragons to give the Enlightened Strike a go again. We see what we draw off the top of our deck, see how that influences the rest of our turn. If we draw a finisher, then we can use our Pouncing Links to find a Double Strike. If we find a 0-cost starter, we can use our Pouncing Links to find a finisher. And if we find a 1-cost attack, like a Mounting Anger, we could pitch our Ravenous Rabble to play it and get guaranteed damage. If Kano decides to block the Enlightened Strike, we still have an instance of Double Strike and our Ravenous Rabble to break Pouncing Links and find our finisher, or whatever we need based on what we draw from the Enlightened Strike. Based on all of that, imagining that our Ravenous Rabble hits a red off the top of the deck and Kano does not block anything, even without knowing what the draw from Enlightened Strike is, we are looking at 29 points of damage. 4 from our Double Strike, 3 from our Emberblade, 2 from our blue Brandwidth Cinderclaw, all makes 11. Ravenous Rabble comes in for 5, which is 14. E-Strike for 5, draw a card, gets buffed by the Art of War to come in for 6, totaling 20. And with 6 hits on the chain, Mopple finds Salt the Wound, which gets the Art of War bonus for a total of 9. That does not include anything we drew off the top of the deck. Say it was a Blaze Headlong, now we're presenting 34 points of damage. It really could be much better than what we did. And by presenting 29 points of damage, what we do is force Kano to either pull the trigger on his combo or block with 3 cards from hand to not die. And if Kano blocks with 3 cards from hand, he cannot afford to play the Aether Spindle. We know that he opted all cards revealed by Aether Spindle to the top of his deck, so we aren't necessarily interfering with his ability to combo off, but the fact that he dealt less damage to us puts us out of kill range from the combo that did in fact kill us. So this was one brief bit of optimization I wanted to talk about. I do think that that is a takeaway from this game. To keep the Draconic starter and banish the 1 cost, if you have the blue to play your Art of War in a situation where you really need to maximize damage at the cost of anything else. Bittering Thorns already doesn't work well in a dedicated Emberblade list because it is not Draconic, so it does not contribute to picking up your Phoenix Flame, and on an Art of War turn, cannot be played at the same time as your Searing Emberblade, and we are getting punished for having it in hand here. I don't think that's being results oriented. I do think that if we really need to make sure that we are hitting our numbers in a Kano game, we need to keep our Draconic starters and banish our 1 costs to our Art of Wars. But that's the game. I did want to show a successful Kano game. I will have another Kano game for us tomorrow. I know many of you do not like Kano. Kano games are very quick and they can often feel very high-rolly. Personally, I don't have a problem with Kano. As far as combo decks go, Kano is not nearly as degenerate as Saber's Bolton, in my opinion. But the Kano game tomorrow will at least show us something new. It will show another disciplined Kano player, and it will show how we can react to something other than the Aether Wildfire to get a win out of the match. I do hope this was helpful. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to head jab that like button. My comments are always open for any questions or feedback. I will, of course, be back tomorrow with more daily FaB gameplay. And until then, take care.